Hey everybody, this is Hardy. So, on my last video, I asked you guys to give me 3 questions for me to answer on my birthday. And now I'm going to answer them. Oh, and for those of you who asked me to, review an anime or have I seen this certain anime, most of my answer to that is yes or no, but if I get a chance, I'll get to watch it or review it. So, just to skip all of that. So, sorry about that. I mean, I just thought I'd just get out of the way and, skip to the really interesting questions. So, anyway, here goes. If I get a chance to travel to 3 destinations, I would like to go to the US, UK, and Japan. I want to go to the US because I want to go to, like anime and comic books and video game conventions. I mean, I haven't been to any of those, except for in Australia, but I really want to go and check the ones out in America. I also want to go to England because I was sort of raised there for 2 years, and it would be nice to feel the cold weather of England again, and, it would be nice just to visit England again. Plus, that's probably where I got this amazing American accent. And my final destination, Japan, the reason is because it's the birthplace of anime, man! I mean, who wouldn't want to go there? Although, from what I've heard, Japanese anime over there is pretty expensive. Is that true? Now, I'm not a big fan of the Xbox series, but, I have a lot of respect for the company. And from what I've heard from the Xbox One, yeah, I think the Xbox fans are definitely getting screwed. Like, for one thing, you have to be online so that the games can activate. And they charge you for borrowed games. And also that it can be turned on by your voice only. And I heard that the Kinect will be like an invasion of privacy or something like that. I mean, I get the whole online verification thing because, with Xbox 360, here in Brunei they sold a lot of bootlegs, so obviously they want to be sure that the games aren't bootleg, but yeah, I think that kind of sucks. Also, charging people for borrowed games? What the hell, man? Also, who gets the money, Microsoft or the people who develop the games? I mean, that is actually going to be a very debatable thing. Also, the voice activation thing is nice, but maybe they should, add a button just in case, they can't turn it on with their voices and stuff. Plus, what happens if the voice activation thing ends up being broken? I'm just saying. And finally, the whole Kinect invasion of privacy thing? I actually think it's a good idea. Why? Well, let's just say Xbox One owners can absolutely sue the Xbox company for tons and tons of money, and that's what I call a money-back guaranteed. I am definitely excited for the PS4 because I always felt that the PS3, ever since its launch, has suffered a lot. And with this new console, it can finally redeem itself. I mean, I'm looking forward to some of the games like Killzone, the new Killzone Shadow Falls, and Infamous The Second Son, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Metal Gear Solid 5. I heard that they had to get rid of the PSI so that they could, beat Xbox One when it comes to price. But you know what? I think that's a good thing because I really didn't think the PSI was a great invention. I mean, it just felt like a meaningless add-on. I will admit that it sucks that it doesn't have backwards compatibility, but in all honesty, I'm not ready to get rid of my PS3 just yet. I also heard that they charge a few bucks for multiplayer, but I don't think that's a big problem with me because, my internet connection isn't that great over here. But for me, there's some questions that are left unanswered with the PS4. Like, if I have a PS3 account, does that mean that I could use that on my PS4? And with that said, can I also download my old PSN games from my old PS3 account into the PS4? Also, are the games region free? Probably yes. Also, does the share button mean that you can also upload footage to your YouTube video? Because that would be totally sweet. Especially for me since, I review video games and I want to use my own footage rather than, using the trailers. So I'm definitely going to get the PS4 when it launches here in Brunei. It's going to be awesome. Yes, I actually have been to anime conventions in Australia. Now, I've only been to the same convention twice. I can't remember the name. I mean, I met cosplayers, I bought cheap animes. I even got to meet Quentin Flynn and Jeff Nimoy. And to which I, took a picture with them. It was actually really fun. But unfortunately, since I live in Brunei, I'm never ever gonna get to an anime convention ever again. And if you're an anime fan, you don't want to live here. Well, I do review video games, so yes, I do play video games. As for comics, I don't really read them as much as I used to. I mean, it's been like a very long time. Right now, I'm actually only reading the Vampire Hunter D mangas. I have one right here, see? This is the latest manga that I've recently read, and I'm waiting for the seventh manga to come out, so I definitely can't wait for that. First off, I just want to say that my favorite out of all the Uncharted games is Uncharted 2. As for Uncharted 1, I definitely loved that game, but Uncharted 3 was definitely mixed for me. So, if I had to choose between Uncharted 2 and The Last of Us, I'm going with Uncharted 2. The reason is because it has a great story and the characters in Uncharted 2 are awesome, especially Nathan Drake, who to me is cooler than Indiana Jones. Oh yeah, I went there. I mean, it's action-packed with train battles and you jump to truck and, blasting people to smithereens. And also they're like collapsing buildings and stuff. And the thing about the game is that it really brings out the capabilities of the PS3. I mean, the graphics are just absolutely gorgeous. And there's scenes where you can see an entire city, and it's just beautiful. I mean, for me, it is an unbelievable badass game. As for The Last of Us, I do love the game too, but the thing is, I'm not going to tell you why, because I'm definitely going to review it when I get a chance. So, you'll just have to wait until you see my review. My favorite fighting game series is the Tekken series. Although for me, the fighting game genre is starting to, kind of getting dull and boring on me. And not to mention that fighting games actually don't interest me as much as they used to. As for the DOA games being underrated, to be honest, I just don't find the games very appealing. Now, I've only played like 3 DOA games, and I'm not counting the Ninja Gaiden series on this. I mean, I played DOA 2 Hardcore on the PS2, and I really love that one. And then there's DOA Volleyball, which might as well be DOA Porn. And then there's DOA 5, which to me is a real letdown. The reason is because I find the story and the fighting kind of boring. And you're probably gonna hate me for saying this, but I prefer the DOA movie over DOA 5. My top 3 video game characters are Kane from the Legacy of Kain series, Heather from Silent Hill 3, and Raiden from the Metal Gear Solid series. My most 3 hated characters in a video game are Bayonetta from Bayonetta, Hope from Final Fantasy XIII, and Batman from pretty much every single Batman game in existence. And I'm not counting the Arkham series because I never played those, and chances are I never will. Now, I've only seen the teaser trailer for The Wind Rises, and from the look of it, it seems like a very touching tale. But besides all that, I don't think there's anything else I know about the movie. But what really shocks me is when I found out that the main character is being played by Hideaki Anno. I mean, seriously, Mr. Crazy Evangelion Man is playing the main character? Man, I'm gonna need a lot of antidepressants for that movie. Yes, I have played Bayonetta, and to me, it is without a doubt the worst action game that I've ever played in my entire life. For me, the main character just sucks, and all these sexual positions that she does while fighting is absolutely ridiculous. And plus, I just find the storyline kind of confusing. I mean, there's like this little girl version of herself and follows her around. What? Plus, what's up with that rivalry she has with that white witch? Not to mention that I find the controllers very confusing, and also, you know, when you kill the end boss and you have to keep mashing the button constantly, that is so annoying. Plus, the visuals are annoying, and I hate the cutscenes, especially the one where it's all like, you know, there's a film roll going, and then like the characters are like totally still. That is just awful. Or how about when they introduce the bad guys and then all of a sudden this book appears and then it just closes shut? They play that constantly and it's really awful. And the worst part for me is when they raped the song Fly Me to the Moon. The song here is just awful. I mean, for me, the game tries so hard to be like Devil May Cry 3 that it ends up being like Devil May Cry 2. I mean, if you guys like the game, you know what, that's fine with me. But you know, one thing's for sure, I'm never gonna see it on the PS3 because it's going on the Wii U, so that's a relief. I actually finished The Last of Us, so I'm definitely gonna review that anytime soon. As for Beyond Two Souls, this is probably gonna be an ass of a thing for me to do, but I'm actually gonna wait until the walkthrough comes out and, you know, try to get a good ending. I mean, yeah, when it comes to interactive games like Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy, yeah, they also were made by the same people who did Beyond Two Souls. I mean, I prefer getting the good endings instead of the bad ones, and I'd rather wait for the walkthroughs. Yeah, I know it's like kind of cheating, but you know, that's how I roll. The most exciting game that I'm definitely gonna get is the upcoming Infamous The Second Sons. I mean, I am a big fan of the Infamous games, especially Part 2. I totally can't wait for that game. I'm gonna vote for Rex on this one, because unlike EVA Unit 1, Rex can go on fighting even, you know, after 5 minutes without a plug. Also, Metal Gear Rex has an arsenal of weaponry. And not to mention that it doesn't have a whiny character piloting it. Yeah, I know I'm hating on Shinji. I'm gonna not do that again. For anime, The Grave of the Fireflies left me in tears. It is without a doubt one of the saddest animes that I've ever seen, and I'm never ever gonna watch it again because it's just too heartbreaking to watch. For video games, it's Metal Gear Solid 4 because, you know, I thought it had a great ending and I just teared up just watching all these things happen. Like, you know, Meryl getting married and Raiden finally getting back with his family and Snake, you know, having closure with Big Boss. Plus, it's also the end of Solid Snake's journey, well, except for Raiden and Big Boss. I mean, for me, it's a great, touching ending for Solid Snake. And for movies, The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, for me, had a really sad ending, you know, where Frodo just says goodbye to everyone, especially Sam. I think that was also very tear-jerking. It had a really touching ending. Now, I haven't seen This Is the End, and I highly doubt that they'll show it here in theaters in Brunei because they have a thing about certain movies coming into, you know, into the country. I mean, they're sensitive about religion and, you know, raunchy and crude comedies like that. They especially don't want to show anything that has too much sexual content, so, you know, if they have all those things in there, it's never going to be shown in the cinemas here in Brunei. So, you know, I'll just wait until, you know, the movie comes out online. My favorite food is pizza, especially from Pizza Hut. I mean, every time my birthday comes up, I always love to order the Super Supreme from Pizza Hut, and you know, it's kind of a tradition for me. I mean, I prefer pizza on my birthday over cake. The only anime that I love to cry for constantly is the first episode of Daikyu Gaiking. It's a mecha show that is so awesome that it makes me want to cry. Because to me, it is one of the manliest mecha animes that I've seen, and it always makes me want to cry every time I watch that first episode. It's awesome.